Chakaruna. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you and all of this here. The most magnificent setup we've had yet on this podcast. It's really cool to see everything that you do, everything that you are in some of your expression. Obviously, all of your tools and instruments aren't here, but I'm excited to dive into it all soon. Let's start off by talking about your name, Chakaruna, to say it the correct way, which I just found out what it meant. So I would love to have you share with our listeners what it is.
Yeah, thanks for starting with that, because for me it's really important to always mention that, which links with intention, purpose, and everything that I've been doing with that. So Chakaruna comes from Quechua language, and it means persona puente, or bridge person in English. For me, was something that it really was a long story how I get to that name, but basically that name comes to me in a dream one night. But only after a few years I started to get more into it, because at the beginning I was a little bit confused with, it happens to many people, they confuse the name with Chakaruna, which is pretty similar but totally different thing. Chakaruna is one of the ingredients of our medicine plant ayahuasca, but this is different. This is Chakaruna, okay? So just to always be clear with that. But yeah, basically the whole meaning is rich person that brings all that ancestral knowledge with the Western Occidental life, is starting to align both things. And in this case, Chakaruna for me is all those knowledge that I've been in my life transforming and everything growing, and everything that I do is reflecting into this project with music. But it's also not only music, it's movement, it's creativity, it's community, it's a lot of stuff. And my main intention is to create that bridge between humans and dance floors and spaces, to connect that connection, that bridge between those little seeds message that you can pull into the dance floor, into these very conscious spaces.
Which I've seen you do so well at the Ecstatic Dance. I think we've mentioned it many times, the Sunday Ecstatic Dance we do here in Nosara and Chakaruna. You've played a few times. How many times have you played?
I think around 4.
Yeah, 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
You're somebody who I'm glad is slowly moving to Nosara. We're getting I want more of what you bring. And we've had hundreds of DJs come through the Sunday Ecstatic space, because we've been doing it every weekend for over 3 years now. And when you came, I'm like, oh, this guy's different. There's something different about what you do, not just your embodiment as a person, but also how you use music and how you bring it forward, and how you bring the acoustic with the electronic, with the ancient, with the modern, and it's all about connection. I really do see that bridge mentality. And I didn't know until 2 days ago that that's what the name meant. I'm like, it makes sense now. And I love it, man. But tell me more about the early years. How did you start getting into music? How did you start on this path into creation? Because I imagine there's lots of people listening that are creatives that maybe are early on in the journey. And so how did you begin this path to get to Chakaruna?
That's a really good question that I've been actually thinking lately, the last couple of years. I think the first time I connect with music when I was a child, like 5, 6 years, I don't even remember how kid I was, 6 years old. And I was traveling with my parents. I was on the back of my car. And I just listened for the first time Bob Marley. And I didn't understand English. My native language is Spanish. So I just feel the vibe from what he was singing. And I was like, I don't know what he's singing, but he caught me. That's something that is connecting with me. And that was my first time that I connect with music, really. And from there, I don't know, I was listening radio all the time, and I was always playing with my cousins. And then after 1 minute of the first lyrics of that song or the first songs, I knew which song it was. So I always had a really good ear. But unfortunately, or fortunately, we never know, I had a kind of trauma thing when I was a kid with music. I have a really strict teacher that put me on the edge, and I didn't have the tools to integrate everything, all that things that made me feel vulnerable, and I didn't have the tools, and I blocked music in my life. I blocked creativity, I blocked everything, and then I just jumped a step into business, into money. I was very into money a lot. And I would say I spent all my childhood just away of music. I put it away. I never be interested. I never again until I started to be more interested into kind of wellness. My mom is a yoga teacher, so I started to get into yoga. But at some point I started to hook with something different, some sensation. And then, all this awareness thing comes, and from there, I started to connect with sound healing. That was my first hook back after years without connect with music. Well, I always listen to music. I love music, but I mean on this learning mode, to learn the music, to learn notes, I never learned that. I have good ear, I love music, and that's how I start connecting. I keep connecting with just hearing music. I have a bunch of music. I love music from the 90s, from the 80s, funky, reggae, everything that connect with me. And it has a special message. And that's how I start to get more involved, until I start to be more into sound healing world, which is what hooked me back into earn my life doing music, which was starting with this guy here. Didgeridoo. That was the first instrument after years with no playing anything that I started to play. The most harder one to play because it required circular breathing. And I don't know, I would just wake up one day and I say, you have to play that. And I start playing it.
So the didgeridoo requires circular breathing. I see people do it, and I wonder how the hell are they doing this? Because it's a constant, if you haven't heard of didgeridoo, maybe you should play it, but it's a constant sound. And you're able to breathe, and you're exhaling as a constant. So when you're saying circular breathing, what does that mean? And
there is a trick. People think we are magicians or we have special powers. But no, it's just a trick there. So basically, it requires circular breathing, so which means that we don't stop exhaling through the mouth. But how the sound doesn't stop, you need to breathe in. There is a few seconds every time you do circular breathing that it may stop. Otherwise, you cannot breathe in, right? But there is a trick. We use the air from the cheeks. So when we're pulling in, while we are just taking that pressure out, and that's what makes the sound keep continuous all the time.
There is constant breath coming out because of what you're holding in your cheeks. You're letting that go as you breathe in.
Just the amount of breath you accumulate when you do it. You see, it's gonna look fun, but it's what it is. So I'm just, for example, if you pull your cheeks all the way, and then you do, okay, your cheeks start to release the air. At the same time, you're breathing in. Okay, so that's the trick. That's where we need more practice. We usually start with a straw, with a glass of water. That's why I started. And I always learn things on my own. YouTube videos, tutorials, all of that way. And I spent 1 or 2 months just repeating until I just got it. And one day, I get it. I'm gonna ride a bicycle for the first time. You will never forget. But it reminds a lot of routine and start to keep the practice every day to don't lose what you learn. A lot of people start just with the breathing thing and they hyperventilate a lot. It's kind of tricky as well, okay? So it's always good to start from the beginning. Circular breathing. If you really want to play didgeridoo, circular breathing. Don't play farther if you don't go with circular breathing because it kind of generates, I get the sound, but didgeridoo ancient instrument. It comes from Australia, Aboriginal Australians, okay? The native Australians. So this is a sacred instrument. So in my case, when I play, it's an instant meditation. I go into meditation state.
This one is also a unique shape because usually when I've seen didgeridoos, they're long and straight, and this one's kind of like a curvature, better for travel, I imagine.
Yeah, this is the one I use when I travel in different countries to do static dance. So this one is the one that I always carry with me because it's in my backpack, and then I just go with this, and I love it. And it has a powerful sound. For me, I have the long ones as well, but the long ones are quite hard to carry, and they always get damaged. And it's from here just my backpack, and then go. And it's an instrument that is very related with earth.
So when do you use this one in a ceremony? When would you play the didgeridoo?
Didgeridoo is an instrument that it depends how you play it. It can create, for sure, in sound healing we call it removedor in Spanish. It's kind of like it moves things. For many people, it's not a comfortable sound. It could move a lot of stuff, create a lot of uncomfortable feelings for some of the people. If you play like in a soft way, it can also induct. It's an induct instrument, so it's a repetition. So the mind gets boring because and that creates a little bit of repetitive patterns. So we call it inductive instrument in sound healing. So it's an instrument that induces to that kind of meditative state, connect with earth a lot. It's a very earthy instrument. So that's why I use it at the beginning and at the end, because that's something that is me. Astrological thing, Capricorn, all these things. In my design, it's like, this is what for me is inside. It's very natural to me to work. So,
well, let's hear it.
Yeah. So basically,
That sound here.
yeah. So it requires a little bit of practice to warm up. So we're gonna do a little bit. So.
Wow.
It's a little bit cold. Usually you take the way I recommend is to take 10 minutes of warm up before you play, because there is wood is a live element. It's alive. And you need to warm up a little bit. Conditions, weather. When I was living on the mountains, cold weather, I need 15 minutes to warm up into my mouth and everything. So it's a very special. It's it has their own energy. I always carry with me if something has to be the picture of my work, and I have a lot of pictures with him when I just put my profile things in SoundCloud or anything like that.
It's unlike any other instrument. It's so unique. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it always activates something in me that feels so primal. When you said earthy, I'm like, yeah, exactly. It feels very primal. And it almost puts me in a trance as well when I hear it. I feel like a serpent, and I feel that energy moving in my body.
All that.
And to see you do the circular breathing right there, it's really cool. So just
those little releasing of air through the nose, at the moment you are bringing out all the air through your cheeks.
Amazing.
It's a whole thing. You can get really deep and get into deep meditation state. If you like to go, I meditated a long time ago. And this is a way of meditating. And I have a lot of back problems. I have scoliosis. I have a curve in my back. So the first time I played this, I was feeling how my entire pain from my back was releasing. So it's a really activate all that Kundalini energy. And it's vibration. It's the pure earth vibration inside of your body when you play and when you receive. So yeah.
That's what got you back into music, into sound healing, down that path. So you were strictly doing didgeridoo and sound healing, or what unfolded next on the musical
Let's say everything comes together And I have a really close relationship with the Tibetan singing bowls. I've been working with that for like 5 years, 6 years already. But everything comes into the same packet right in a couple of years. I started to play with shamanic drums. I started to use Native American flutes. I started to play with shakers. I started to implement my voice, which is our best and most sophisticated instrument that we have, that we don't use. Most of the humans don't use, or because we have a lot of things, vulnerability, insecurities that affect when we talk. And express that voice is something that it has so much potential, but it's something that not everybody is ready. We need to have different processing through our lives. So I started to implement my voice, and it was like mind-blowing experience.
So that's something that obviously everyone has access to, is their voice. Most people have access to their voice. And I was curious, from your perspective as an artist, I hear from different artists, different thoughts on this, the idea that everybody's an artist. So everybody's a creative, everybody's an artist. Do you feel like everybody's a musician? Because you brought up the voice. If somebody has access to their voice and could cultivate that, does everybody have that innate ability in them, do you believe? Or do you think there are select humans that are the musicians of the world?
For sure. I think what unlocks the potential that we have from artists is creativity. That's something that I think is together. It's just, it goes. Because I would not be here if one day I had to step forward in my creativity. For sure. I will maybe do a couple of gigs, but then if my creativity doesn't going on, I'm repeating things and people will notice. Humans are mostly now, they want 3 seconds, 10 seconds, something new. There's a different point of views here, but you need to be creative. For you, for your people, for your work, for your life. So I will say we all have this tool of the voice. So as humans, we have voice for a reason. So I guess, yes, everybody can get their artists out to really see an artist. There's a lot of varieties of artists. So I would say definitely yes. Yeah.
Love it. Especially with the evolution of technology and AI, coming back to humanness, and this is what Whole Human is all about, is coming back to your humanness, because in the next couple of years, we have no idea where things are going to go, which we're not going to go into that conversation. But it is that innate creativity that's in the human experience that I believe cultivating that is essential. And I imagine you as a creative believes the power in that beyond the intellectual capacities, because AI is going to outdo us in every regard there, but evolving the creative, the human capacities as an artist. Of course, there are things that AI can do there as well, but our own innate instruments. How would you invite someone in, like your younger self, or imagining people that have that block vocally, to start playing, start practicing, start getting creative with themselves?
I think I can just tell from my experience, because every human is an entire world, universe. So in my experience, because I'm coming from this holistic world, mantra singing is what opened my voice. And community circles. When I started to create, to sing mantras is something that we are just singing vocals, and even sometimes you don't know exactly. I hope that everybody that chants something know what it means. But sometimes just focus on Al or Ram or anything that is creating a repetition, and then you start to feel more comfortable. The first time I started to experience that with the Sadhguru mantra, we were doing ah, ooh, So that mantra started to generate and unblock everything, because it's true that certain mantras or vocals, we will unblock those blocks that we have in certain, but mostly into our expression. So I would say mantra is a cool thing that you can start if you resonate with that. Not everybody resonates with that. But I would say just to sing at home. Like, if you like a song, I like to do that. Right now I'm improving my voice, trying to move into different, like, yesterday I was singing folk or anything that comes to me that I think I can hook. I try to find a way to release the vocals of that song or find without the lyrics and then go for it. And it doesn't matter how it looks like. It's just to train to get into tune with the song. We have ears to tune our voice with what we're hearing outside. So I think that's something that it will help. I think ear is something very important to sing, because if you don't follow the rhythm, or if you don't match with others, unless you don't always sing along, it's something that you may need to also train at the same time, your ear.
Something that was game-changing for me, which is group mantra, basically. Singing together in groups of people. And when there's, 50, 100 plus people singing together, it's like,
it's that beginning.
There's this permission slip to just go all in. Like, I'm not isolated. Nobody cares what I'm doing. So if I can just try to sync up best I can and let it all go, I start to see what's possible there.
Yeah.
And as well, to what you're saying, I would do ohms every morning. I do that in my morning practice. I've been doing it for years now. And in that, I just connect to the voice to start the day. I think there's so much magic in that. Yeah. I think everybody could benefit from in some way of what that vibration does, just permission to vibrate like that. Ecstatic dance, we don't allow conversations on the dance floor, right? We allow sounds. We're like, make the sounds, express with your voice, but do not talk. Because it's so often that all we do with our voices is talk. Yeah. So now here's the place where you go where you don't talk.
Yeah.
You do everything else though. All the sounds, all the expression. So yeah, the power of the voice is so important. All right, so you started the sound healing journey. How did it start to bridge, as you do, into this? Into having kind of a DJ set, a mixer, electronics, you started kind of earthy, instrumental. How did it bridge to this space?
Okay, so we need to go back to 18 years old. I had a bar on the beach.
Had a bar at 18?
In Spain,
nice.
In the coast of Alicante. And I didn't know how to just play music, like in a DJ mode. And I have a friend, two friends actually, that they were playing in a club. And they were like, I just bought this DJ controller with CDs, and you need to move the tempo with like a hammer because it was so strong. No synchro button or anything, just everything manual here, boom, boom. And they teach me how to play and how to DJ actually. But then I was 18 years old, I guess camp, and I learned a lot. But I think the valuable thing from that time was to learn DJ. But then I became, in business mode, and then I stopped. And then here in Costa Rica, it was 7 years ago, or 20 years ago, before COVID time, and we started doing community gatherings. We call it community dance. And I started to have a friend that she was doing that, and then I started, I like this. People just came for dance. There is this new thing that you don't talk on the dance floor. There wasn't any strict static dance. It was just more like a community gathering, but kind of follow those guidelines that we all should know when we go to static dance. That's amazing. This is a way to hook into these kind of conscious spaces, conscious dance floors, which is that there is no talking, there is no phone, or if there was in that space, it was very mindful. And I kind of, I like this. So that was kind of like the first interaction. The ecstatic dance that I experienced after that, I think it was in Guatemala. In Guatemala, I experienced more like these guidelines, because they explained it before, like you do in the circle. And then I started to look more into it and say, okay, this is what I would like to try out. I go back, I bought a little mixer like this size, like portable, $100, and I'm at them, boom, and start to play. It sounds good. And 2 months later, I have gigs in Salina Hotel, in different places, and then I start to play, and I start to share my music, and I start to do static dance. And that was how I started to connect more with this. And I learned about really the root of this ecstatic dance, why it makes this so special, why is this thing about no talk on the dance floor, why is this thing to don't make pictures on the dance floor, what was that there? And then the people, I saw the people was having something else than just a regular dance, looking outside. They were in their own dance, really with a fully present being. So that's kind of what hooked me, like that really something special there, more than just a superficial space where I'm just going to shine in a different way, but very superficial, right?
You really bring people on journeys at Ecstatic Dance. Not all DJs really understand the full soundscape of the journey and everything. We've had hundreds of people that have come through, but you are somebody that really understands how a journey goes at Ecstatic Dance. And Ecstatic Dance has changed my life. That's why I started this one here with Ali. That's why we began it 3.5 years ago, because it's just so good for us. We're like, we need to build more. We need to have more spaces to dance. Having it in the early day, like you said, alcohol-free, conversation-free, phone-free, just connection and expression on the dance floor. There's something so magical about it. All ages are welcome. We have kids, we have elders, we have everybody in between that comes and connects via Ecstatic Dance. And you brought to my attention these 6 areas or expressions. What do you call them?
Yeah, basically we have 6 areas, but the way I like to do it is kind of a wave format. There is one way is creating this, starting from different states, going through different, so this is a mountain climb, a wave from a mountain. Down here will be an opening, which is a creation moment, where you were created, like an opening moment. Where usually is related by acoustic, no beats, really down tempo. In my case, where the Didgeridoo could get in to bring the people, just because we are physical bodies. We come from the earth and we are from here. So I like to start from there.
The opening is stage 1.
Yeah, opening, that will be stage 1. Stage 2 will be that, let's say, awakening, that awake state. That will be maybe some beats very slow, like, for example, connecting with your heartbeat, okay? This is something that start to move people from the ground a little bit, but start to make them move and to start to be still on the ground, but trying to find a little bit higher, different levels. And these are songs that could be really slow beats, okay? That could be stage 2. Stage 3 would be more into that building process of the life, which is when we are kind of into that, where we are creating the life we want, or trying little things, which maybe into that building is something like with between 70, 90 BPM. So the BPMs are also related with the states that we're gonna create. We're going all the way up to climax, let's say, right? So these states are always related by certain music styles, BPMs, and also anything else that you want to put in. The next stage.
So just to be clear, we have opening,
Yeah.
we have awakening, we have building.
Yeah.
Halfway. So this is, we're getting close to.
Yeah, you're building the climax.
Yes.
So but the building is related by that construction period of our lives. Mm-hmm. So we're going there, and there are many ways to approach that. Different styles, activating more darkness or lightness. There's different ways. There's a lot. This is my personal approach, okay? But from here, we start to climb out into the climax. So climax is the state that the ecstatic dance is looking for, that ecstasy that people is looking for, where part of the healing, I want to say all the healing happens, because there is a part of the healing that also happens in each stage. But I will say climax is the one that have more power, is a more powerful one to help you to release through strong movements, through high BPMs, 120 up to 150 BPMs, where house, trance, techno comes in, where people get ecstasies and start to dance and start to scream, anything that they want to do. This is the right time to do it, because it's the time where you just release into the dance floor anything that you are ready to release there. That will be the fourth. And then from here, and I have a state that I call a dream state. Because we come up here, now we can stay here, come down, stay again, come down a little bit, and play a little bit from there. But here's when your connection with the public comes. Sometimes it's not about you only. You are part of it, but there's also what happening outside. So look what the people needs. If people is just destroyed sitting on because you just destroy them because they was super high BPM, and then means that you're looking for the next step, which would be post-climax. But if people is still like, maybe they are getting the move, that psytrance or of that techno, of that house, but it's still there going on, and you are not doing like a super peak wave, you want to do like a double wave. You can play and go back into building process to bring something special or something that brings again light, or you want to wake more deep healing process with like a ethnic music where again Didgeridoo dance into a totally different way when it was more like a pumpy rhythms. So that dream state is very up to you.
I noticed most ecstatic dances have more than one peak. Our ecstatic dance crew has stamina. They'll keep going. And so like, they'll have multiple peaks. And then when a DJ does come in place, one peak and then drops, people are usually like, oh, we have more in the tank, because we're used to those multiple peaks. But every dance floor is different. Every crew is different. Every community. So you have to read that as the DJ. It's up to you to see, where are we going? Do we need to pull it back down? Are we going to dip back up?
Yeah.
And then, so that fifth one is dreamy state?
Yeah, dream state. It could be or it could be not.
Yeah.
But at least I will, in my case, I always put one song that, for example, after that super peak song, I choose an inspirational song. I can take Alan Watts or anything that you resonate with that also align with, in my case, I want to transmit consciousness. So that's where all this project name links. And that's a state that people is very receptive, whatever they are hearing, because it's after the climax you're open. Mm-hmm. So then is when the healing also comes. And then you can just use that moment, which is the present that I think we have, the facilitators, to create an impact, positive impact into those people that are giving that trust on you.
Okay. So then the dreaming is 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the 6 will be post-climax.
Gotcha. And that's the closing.
That's the calming down.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have a strong peak, we cannot just bring it down to closing because the heartbeat is still super high. Mm-hmm. Some people that needs 10, 15 minutes to calm down. So you need to be responsible with that. That's why it's always good to follow, at least understand that each state, each theme or state that we're talking, it needs a certain time. Okay, around 20, 30 minutes or another 20 minutes building, 10 minutes awake, post-climax, another 10 minutes closing, which is the next state.
That's the final, the close.
Yes.
Because we always end up coming down to the floor, melting, and then either there's somebody doing closing sound or the DJ is that closer.
Exactly. So this is kind of, I will say, a responsible way to do it, because for me, ecstatic dance is a shamanic journey through sound and movement. It's not just a dance floor where I go, no. If you manifest your work as a journey, as a shamanic journey, as people can transcend things, I see every single static dance, someone having their own process. Because what we're doing is bring all these childhood memories, all these memories from our building process lives, all these worries about the future, we're bringing born thing, dead thing, everything is there. The closing will be the similarity of the death. And the opening will be the burn process, where we were born.
Yeah, it can be an incredibly vulnerable space.
Yes.
If you really let it be. You're letting yourself be seen in your full expression without some other permission slip like alcohol or drugs or something else to be like, oh, it's just because I'm high. It's just because I'm drunk. No, this is all you. And you have to choose to show up in this and see yourself, be seen by other people and witness other people, but really witness yourself on the dance floor and along this journey. And hearing it like this, hearing it broken down, it really is a process. It's a ceremony to be inside of. And it takes holding a container like that and having the intention like you to be able to make it a powerful ecstatic dance. My question to you as a DJ is, how do you dance between structure and improv in the flow of creating the journey? Because you just mentioned a structure, like here's 6 parts of a structure, but then within that, there is a flow. And I'm reading the room, I'm connecting to it. I notice the DJs that over structure, and it also is noticeable when DJs are over fluid. So how do you find a balance? What is the way that you seek that sweet spot?
Yeah, I think you always, in my personal view, I have kind of half of half. I have kind of a structure with the states, and I have very well organized my music. So, for example, if I'm kind of 50% prepared my set the day before, the way I visualize, it could be totally different how the group energy is in that day. I remember last time we were playing here was eclipse, new moon. Well, it was like a whole thing happening, a lot of healing energy. I was going through one road that didn't work. So I have to switch everything, forget about what I was creating for that day, and start to flow with the people needs, but from an instructor. If that instructor is not working, then I active my flow with the people, because in my way to work, that is easy for me. He's a DJ. He's not someone that is connecting with the public. And we're here to create that shamanic journey for everybody, not only for you. So this is something important. So I would say I prepare an instructor because that will help me to bring into a safe container the experience, but sometimes certain songs are not hooking the people or are not making them to go to climax, which is something that we need to do, climax state. If they don't do climax, strong climax, or at least 15, 20 minutes of climax, like sweating and everything, it's a different experience. So yeah, flow with the people is something important that you need to, that's why it's very important to get your music very well organized.
That's life, right? It's a combination of structure and flow. For me, as a CEO of a company, I need to do the same thing. I need to have structures for our meetings, structures for our quarterly agendas. And then within that, it's like, actually, we got to pivot because this investor did this or this opportunity came up, and we actually have to be able to flow. That's why I often say the ability to work with improv and to be inside of impromptu situations and train that capacity is one of the best things we can do. Because creating structures are great. It's great to have the tools. The structure you provided is amazing. Imagine many DJs and people will appreciate that. But training the ability to impromptu and have fluidity in the creative process, I feel like creativity comes more from fluidity than structure, but structure creates freedom, of course, as we know. So that dance. How would you invite people into cultivating more fluidity? Let's say structure's checked. They did that. They know how to do that. How do they start to cultivate fluidity in the creative process?
I think fluidity can with trust. Trust in your work You cannot, I mean, there are, I don't know, depending on the study that you're doing, could be 50 people, it could be 20 people, it could be hundreds. It's very, you never know. Like something that for me, someone is having an uncomfortable feeling because it's moving something. When I do sound healing, for example, sound healing is something that I will like to hear that someone has something, it's an uncomfortable feeling coming, because that means it's a growth process coming through my work. And that's why I connect with my intention. In my case, if I have to say to someone, like, start to connect with that fluidity in your life as well. What helped me was contact improv.
Yes.
Contact improv is one of the tools of my life, and I'm so glad that I found that in my life, that I apply that flow with everything that comes and that improvisation of anything. So improvisation is life. And that was something that helped me to break all the structures when I feel it's time to break all of them, and to improvisation. So that also helped me a lot into my want to accept when something that I was preparing with a lot of love, with a lot of effort, is not working. And that's the same with the life. Sometimes we make plans and then the plan doesn't work. So it's the same here. So I think start with your life, professional life, and then match. It's a whole process. Go fluid with life is not something that every human can do easily. And it's a learning process.
Yeah, everyone should do contact improv.
Yeah, do contact improv.
It's amazing. For people that are dancers, that are structured dancers, like people who come from a salsa background or these other structural ways of being, it's important, because then it's like step, step, step. There's a right way.
That's how I learned.
Contact improv is like, nope, there's no right or wrong way. And then people who don't dance at all, it's incredibly valuable, because everyone thinks, or it's often I hear people think, oh, I'm not a dancer. This is where everybody's a dancer. You can just touch a finger and move with it. Oh, you're dancing. Look at that.
There is no structure, and when someone tell you there is no structure here to dance, just you're gonna move like this. Just move like this. You're gonna go to the floor. Go. You do anything your body wants. If you don't want to dance with someone, don't do it.
Dance with the floor. Lay on it.
Yeah, just contact with the
Being able to move the body, the somatic experience of our expression, I think is essential for humans, for human evolution. Like, to be a whole human is somebody who's connected to their total soma, like the whole somatic experience. And through music, and it makes sense that you're a dancer, because that's what I was going to ask. The best DJs I've seen are also dancers. It's rare that you meet a good DJ that doesn't dance, especially ecstatic dance. If you're an ecstatic dance DJ and you're of the top ones, you are definitely a dancer. I've seen that over and over again, because they get it. They get what the body wants and needs and moves with the rhythms.
Totally.
It's not just knowing the skill of DJing, it's knowing the skill of movement. And so, I mean, it makes sense that that applies to you as well. Cool. Well, do you want to get into some of the stuff?
Yeah, I was, just you get this idea to prepare a little bit together, something, just to show a little bit how I create something. So, for example, we're talking about the stages.
Yep.
So we're gonna do like a quick something, and then we will convert this after into a mini session. But I want just to show how this could be, and just to be in my situation to show that, okay?
That's why we got it all set up, you guys.
We go back to the states that we were trying to get. So we are finding a song that it hook with that opening intention, where there are no beats, where there's like a soundscape or something like that that brings that, in my case, which I resonate, earth. Okay? So let's say, for example, let's play this one here, which is one of the songs that I use in my sets, for example. Yeah. So this is some kind of like a soundscape thing that it gives you a lot of play there. I can just grab my Didgeridoo and you start to playing to create that earth environment, and then people is fully arriving into the space, like connecting with the space, with everything. What do you think about this? This resonate with that opening that I explained to you?
Yeah, this feels like open.
And then for the second song, this awakening theme or state. This state is really important because it's the step where you move the people from the floor, wherever they are lying down, to start the first movement. You cannot be like with something super strong because you're gonna create some tension. So we're not looking for that. We're very responsible with that. So we're gonna look, for example, also here, remember the lyrics, something important. Lyrics in a static dance for me is a powerful thing. So wherever the lyrics you put, make sure it is in the good way. Okay, so this is important. For example, I have this song in mind that is also one of the ones that I use. Transitions are also very important, but you do that with time. And this is a song that starts to invite these first beats. So it's creating that awakening intention that you can start to feel in a nice way. If the BPM is still a little bit high, you can play a little bit with the tempo to bring it a little bit lower. But remember, we are doing a short version here, so I'm just trying to get the concepts. But this is, and it has a lyric inside, which is related by what I want to awake here. Which this song is called Hear Her Heartbeat. So it's getting that message to connect with your heartbeat, which is something that it will awake the person, okay? So what do you think about this song for that? It's perfect, right?
Yeah, I could see the slower BPMs. It's starting to move around the space.
Probably because you danced already.
I probably danced to this song, exactly.
And now we're looking for that third state, which is the building process, right? Remember that vision of your kind of childhood, but you're starting to get into that adult life, okay? So I would say maybe something with, I invite you to play more. This is good to start with your first steps. When you're like 2 years old, you start to learning how to walk in life, right? This is a perfect song. The next song, maybe, let's see if you like this one. So this is, in my view, reggae is something that connects with that first parties and stuff like that, but it has something fresh inside. That beat that is in crescendo, getting a little bit higher. And of course, here you can start to increase a little bit the tempo, okay? Bringing that little by little higher beat. So this is connecting with all this general state of that transition between childhood and adult, okay?
Yeah.
Indeed, building is a long process. What do you think about this one?
I feel like it also goes kind of from self to other at this point, because the other one I'm like, oh, I'm with me, and then this is like, I'm like going around the space and like looking at people. I feel that with this kind of music, it's more from self to communal.
Yes, perfect. And now, because building is a very important process and it's a long process, is where we're building our lives, right? Activate different things into that building process. Something like a transformational process, like bring a little bit of darkness into our life. So if I go to find darkness, sometimes tribal is good to, I would say it's a good way to shake into that darkness, okay? So we can just use this space here. Let's say. Here is more like something deep is happening, it's coming. The tempo is increasing as well, okay? So it's getting higher tempo. Obviously, I modify a little bit, but this is what we're trying to get into a rhythm where it's just getting up almost into climax. So this is just shaking the body more, finding this type of climax, and then from here we can keep it longer and trying to find another type of climax, which would be, for example, a house theme, which is a climax bringing another energy, okay?
What I like about this kind of beat is that you could choose to like hit every beat, or you could every other. And so where you're at, where you at on the energetic spectrum with this kind of music,
There are
it's your
many
own
ways.
build. I'd be sweating at this point though, I'd be drenched. That's just me though.
Yeah. So this is kind of the idea of this thing. And then if we want to just to go into that cool down space, we can just to find a way and then just to play, for example, a song that is finding that cool down. Which for me it keeps the beat, but low. And again, there are some inspirational quotes behind. This is a theme with, I think it's Nothing Else MC. So it has like some brand ass quote behind or something that you can use as well to remember climax after we play with that dream. So that can be also into that dreamy state. Because for me, that keep it to that I'm dreaming now, I kinda get this move of my life, what I want to achieve, what I want to see, what are my intention in this life. This is super dreamy for me.
Yeah, because at this point, we're so in our bodies and out of our mind after that climax that we're, like you said, we're so open.
Yeah.
So at this point, everything that's being said, felt, heard, we're open to receiving it.
Totally, yeah, totally. And from here, we just find a song that we can just place to really close, like hopefully with no beats or anything that we think that is good. For example, I will say this one. Here, for the closing, it's just an invitation to lie down, to just connect with this. And this is giving the time to integrate. Integration part is super important. And here, your creativity, in my case, my voice, flutes, even the beginnings and ends and climax. Those are the three parts that I interact more with people.
Yeah, because you'll play a lot of live instruments throughout the whole set, I've noticed. You'll have some like drums that are like electric drums, some acoustic, and you play throughout the whole journey. You add your own beats.
Yeah.
That obviously maps the tempo and go with the build, and then they come down.
Totally.
And at this point, you have to have some guidance, some cues, some things to help us return to stillness is always so valuable.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yo, that's it. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, man, for giving us this mini tutorial. I know in your practice as well, we'll go through a little version of this also. So I want people to definitely tune into that. The practice will reconfigure this set so you can listen in and have this sound journey with you. But it's been amazing to drop in with you. As we had the sun setting into this session, is a gift, man. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure you speak to?
I will say just for those DJs, static dance facilitators that have this power to choose also where they share their magic, to also be part of this movement of respect the spaces like we do here in Nosara, for example. You're doing a great job with these gatherings every Sunday. For me, keep these guidelines like no talk, only body expression, no verbal expression, the phones outside of the space, which I think is something cool. You know, I know people want to have this, but it's just 2 hours. You have 2 hours to be fully present in your body, dancing, and if you're using your phone, I can tell you so that many times people lose the connection and go outward. This is something very special from this. If we don't want to start to mix with like a regular parties, it's really important that we as DJs, we respect this and we connect with this as a medicine, shamanic journey, full expression, creating a safe container. That I think is a really important message for all the facilitators, static dance, DJs that want to get into this or they're already here, to keep promoting these spaces because they're unique. They're very, very unique.
Thank you for being such an important piece of this puzzle and coming to this community so often. And I'm glad you're moving here slowly and bridging into Nosara, into this ecstatic dance, this necessary community element that we have, this pillar that's here in Nosara. So thank you for being an important piece of this pillar.
Oh, good. And thanks for inviting me.
The last question I ask every guest, which is an important one, just from your perspective, what does it mean for you to be
whole?
To be whole, as this podcast is called Whole. Yeah. What does it mean for you to be whole?
So many things that comes together. But I think if I have to use one word related with all that we were talking here, I think it's consciousness. I think to be a whole human, to be a whole thing, it could not be possible without consciousness. Or it could be, but what kind of whole you will be, right? So I think this is really important because when you say consciousness, you are doing a shortcut of many things that you need to do to get there, which is integrity, which is confidence, which is many things, transformations, a lot of stuff to get there. So I will say consciousness will be a big piece of that whole human.
Thank you, Chakaruna. Appreciate you, brother. We'll have all the info, where to find him, how to learn more, how to be connected with you.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.